Imagine that you have the opportunity to become famous in Pokémon Platinum. Your presence would become a newsworthy event, and everyone would be dying to talk to you. An opportunity so exclusive that they only offer it to 20 Japanese players ever. With over 2.6 million copies of Pokémon Platinum sold in Japan, that means less than 0.1% of players could achieve this VIP status. In October 2008, Pokémon Platinum players in Japan had just 5 days to complete an in-game event that involved getting special passwords from real people within the Wi-Fi Plaza. It's an event that required a tremendous amount of luck. Not only did you have to complete the event in the first place, but to get the prize of VIP status, you had to win a lottery with 20 total winners. The craziest part of all is that this event might have been a complete failure that never truly resolved. And even if it did, they never tried it again. What you're seeing right now is the Wi-Fi Plaza from Pokémon Platinum and HeartGold SoulSilver. Well, more specifically, you're seeing a fan server that I have connected my Nintendo DS to. You see, Nintendo DS Wi-Fi servers shut down in 2014, along with any official access to the Wi-Fi Plaza. It turns out this location once held one of the most unique events in the Pokémon series, and is completely undocumented outside of a handful of Japanese blogs from 2008. I am so excited to bring this event to light outside of Japan for what is, as far as I can tell, the first time. So join me as I explain exactly how the event worked, how we figured it all out, and thanks to the developers of the Poké Classic Network, I can show you exactly what it would have looked like in-game. Let's get into it. Before we can understand the event, let's talk about how the Wi-Fi Plaza works. I imagine most people either never used it or haven't used it in over 10 years. Like, even as someone who has played a ton of Gen 4 growing up, I didn't even know this feature existed until a few years ago. The Wi-Fi Plaza is accessible in Pokémon Platinum, HeartGold, and SoulSilver by going downstairs in any Pokémon Center. You approach this counter, mash A, connect to Nintendo Wi-Fi, and boom, you end up in a Wi-Fi Plaza. Literally a plaza, meaning you don't get to choose which plaza you go to. So if you and a friend wanted to hang out together in a plaza, you might have to retry multiple times until you're both in the same one. Once you're inside the plaza, you can pick up to 2 Pokemon types to display on your trainer card, and you are given a level 1 tap toy. Tap toys are literally toys you can tap on the bottom screen to show a visual effect that other players will also be able to see. The higher level it is, the flashier the effect is. Winning any of the 3 minigames will upgrade your tap toy 1 level up until it's level 3. But don't worry, there are plenty of activities that don't involve tapping your toys. You can check the news board, approach a globe to see where everyone's connecting from, or you can go up to this computer to answer a rotating survey and later see how everyone else answered it. There's also 2 footprint boards where you can stamp your Pokemon's footprint temporarily with other players. While it's probably the silliest feature of the plaza, it'll be the main subject of my next video, so I'm not going to talk about it much here. You can't see the real-time locations of other players in the plaza, so instead they will be posted in random spots and remain there until you leave. If you approach another player, you can see their plaza trainer card. If you interact with them, you can either share tap toys or chat with them. Chatting is really weird and involves asking randomized questions with vague answers. For example, your friend can ask, "What's special there?" You can say, "Rare things/events," and in response they'll say, "That must be cool." Truly thought-provoking conversation. If you decide you don't want to leave because you're just having so much fun in the plaza or you don't want to give up the level 3 tap toy you worked so hard to get, too bad. You are not allowed to stay in the plaza forever. After enough time has passed, fireworks along with a parade will begin. You can leave the plaza and end your Wi-Fi connection by hopping on a parade float or just going back to the entrance at any point. If you don't do either, the game will eventually kick you out of the plaza and you'll have to re-enter. All in all, the plaza is a pretty simple and fun thing to try once in a while, but it's not deep enough feature-wise to the point where you want to spend all day in there. Judging by the Game FAQ's forum posts, most players actually hated the plaza. They mostly complained about how little there was to do in it, progression resetting every time you re-entered, minigames not starting properly, along with it just being totally empty most of the time. However, it turns out there were more things planned for the Wi-Fi Plaza that were seemingly never pushed to players. Thanks to the Poké Classic Network developers, we can experience the plaza with 2 unique features, Seasons and VIPs. Seasons were just cosmetic changes to the floor of the plaza, like changing the floor to grass or snow. As far as we can tell, these seasons were never implemented in the official server and only appear in promotional material. VIPs, on the other hand, are a bit more complicated. Essentially, it's a special status given to a player that makes them stand out in the plaza. When a player that has VIP status enters the plaza, the newsboard updates saying that a very special guest has arrived. There's no way to visually identify these special guests, so if you want to find them, you have to literally approach every player you see in the plaza. You'll know someone's a VIP based on the trainer card that appears in the bottom screen. Regular players have a blue or red card, while VIPs have a gold card. Ooh. VIPs also have the special perk of always starting with a level 3 tap toy. This means that if you find one and they share their toy with you, you get to skip the tap toy grind. And that's pretty much it. That's really all we learned about the VIP feature until recently. From the Game Freak leaks that took place in October 2024, we know that there were plans to use this feature, but they seemingly never came to fruition. In fact, we thought the VIP system was a completely dormant aspect of the Wi-Fi Plaza, until recently. When Poke Classic Network developer Mithra approached me with various Wi-Fi Plaza mysteries, I decided to investigate, and what I eventually found was mind-blowing. I had to watch dozens of low-res YouTube recordings of the Wi-Fi Plaza from 2009 and read everything written about the plaza, but I couldn't find any mention or proof of VIPs or seasons. At this point, the only thing left to try was searching in Japanese, and finally, I stumbled across a very intriguing blog post. On October 31st, 2008, Japanese user Nyampai7x posted about their experience in the Wi-Fi Plaza. In this post, they state that they visited the Wi-Fi Plaza on that day, and that it was the last day of a campaign to find a special guest. They go on to describe the basic features of the Wi-Fi Plaza, then state that they failed to find whoever the special guest was. I was relying on machine translation at this point, but it did seem like Nyampai was describing the VIP feature, even though it was believed to never have been implemented in official servers. It sounded like there was a timed event back in October 2008, where players could actually find VIPs in the plaza. Obviously, since this one player failed to find one and there were no additional details, I wasn't sure how to proceed. I kept searching for Japanese terms, but didn't have any luck finding other mentions of this campaign. I searched Nyampai's username online and found that they actually had an active account on another social media platform. I decided my best course of action was to message them and see if they could remember any details or point me in a direction that would help me learn more. Now, if it wasn't already obvious, I don't speak Japanese. While I did take AP Japanese in high school, yes, this is a real picture of me in Japanese class wearing a kimono, I barely remember any Japanese. I reached out to my friend Thomas, who lives in Japan, and asked for help formulating a message for me to send to Nyampai. I explained everything that I've explained to you so far to Thomas, and instead of formulating that message, he did something much better. He helped solve the mystery. It turns out that you can do a much better job searching Japanese terms when you actually speak Japanese. I know, big shock. Thomas found a couple more blog posts from the same time period that confirmed the VIP event was actually real. The blog post you're seeing describes the terms of the event in detail. Japan has something called the Pokemon Daisuki Club, basically an official Pokemon fan club website that offers special items, minigames, contests, and more for its members. The post states that staff members of the Daisuki Club would be appearing in-game within the Wi-Fi Plaza for a limited time, between 1 and 8 p.m. every day from October 27th to October 31st, 2008, staff members would be in the plaza. By talking to the staff members, you can get their password. By entering the password and trainer name of the staff member into the Daisuki Club website, you would be entered into a lottery, where 20 winners would be chosen to become special guests. That event period lines up with the first blog post, where they said it was the last day of the campaign on October 31st. So it seems like they're both referencing the same event. Not only did this event involve the VIP feature actually being used in-game, but it promised players a chance to win VIP status. Even better, this same blog posted again a few days later, showing themselves actually going through the event. On October 31st, 2008, around 7 p.m., right before the event ended, the blogger entered the Wi-Fi Plaza and approached the news board and saw 2 blue icons, indicating 2 VIPs were present in the plaza. They acquired each staff member's password, then entered them on the Pokemon Daisuki Club website. Here we can see the VIP card showing the passwords for a staff member named Ori, and another named Rui Rui. It's worth noting that these passwords are actually just pulled from the same pool of words used to enter greetings or specific phrases in multiple spots in Gen 4, like the person in Jubilife TV that you talk with in order to unlock the mystery gift feature. Someone in the comments also mentions that they met Ori, but the passwords were different from the ones shown in the main blog post. They speculated that the passwords seemed to change based on the time of day. More on that later. We also found another blog post describing a successful VIP encounter. This user says that they had to re-enter the plaza 10 times until they found staff member Ori, and sure enough, the passwords don't match the passwords shown in the other blog post. This user was hesitant to enter the info in the Daisuki Club website since they didn't want to enter their home address, so they tragically missed out on their chance at greatness. For final confirmation, Thomas checked the archive of the official Pokémon Platinum website. It had a hot news page with announcements for all their big events, like the members card distribution for Darkrai and the Oaks letter distribution for Shaman. Hiding innocently in this hot news page is the announcement post for the Daisuki Club VIP event. Let's open it up and... Okay, it doesn't exactly render correctly and all the images are gone forever, but extracting all the text, we see confirmation of everything we've learned so far. Find a staff member at the right time, put the info into the Daisuki Club website, and you'll be entered into a lottery to win the right to become a special guest yourself and also get a quote-unquote wonderful gift. There's even a disclaimer that even if you go to the Wi-Fi Plaza at the right time, there is no guarantee you will meet a staff member. Unfortunately, this is all of the information available on official websites. Since you needed an account to fully access the Daisuki Club website, any further information is not archived and probably gone forever. We may never know what the wonderful gift was, who won the event, or if the event even concluded properly. It also looks like this was the only time the VIP feature was ever used, since there are no other blog posts or official posts mentioning it after this point in time. Thanks to packet dumps from near the end of official Nintendo DS Wi-Fi support, we do know that there were no players with VIP status in 2014, so at the very least we can confirm that if anybody did win VIP status, it didn't last. In order to get the full picture, we need more than just incredibly low-res pictures from 2008. Let's actually recreate this event in-game and show what it would have looked like on an English cartridge for the first time ever. The first step is to enter a plaza that has a VIP in it. If there is no VIP, I have to exit, go through the brutally slow Wi-Fi connection screen, and try again. I approach a news board, spot the blue icon indicating a VIP is present, then begin the quest to find them. Since there's no way to know which person is a VIP until I approach them, I have to go approach every single person until I see that golden VIP trainer card. And I have to go fast. The VIP's time in the plaza might run out before I find them, leading to them getting booted and forcing me to go back to re-entering the plaza repeatedly. Eventually, I found them. Reading the blog post, I was worried that you had to actually talk to the VIP, and then their answers to the random questions you asked would become the passwords. That would have been an absolute nightmare for both the players and the VIPs, since only one person can talk to another player at a time. Instead, thankfully, VIPs have a unique trainer card that shows passwords, and it appears just by bumping into them. So I bump into the VIP, jot down their trainer ID and passwords, localized as slogans in the English releases. Then I input them nowhere, since this is just a recreation and I have to accept that I will never be a Pokemon Daisuki Club member and become an official VIP. And yeah, that's literally the entire event. Despite being incredibly simple, this was almost certainly the last time they attempted a Wi-Fi Plaza event. As far as we know, Game Freak scrapped their plans to roll out seasons and other VIP events after this point. I have a lot of ideas as to why they never tried again, but keep in mind that everything I'm about to say is speculation since I was not a Japanese Pokémon Platinum player back in 2008. First, it was probably pretty frustrating trying to find VIPs in small 20-person plazas. If a lot of people were playing, there would be many active plazas, but only a couple that had VIPs in them. And as we saw in the first blog post, failing to find staff members was pretty common. The event was probably rough for the Daisuki Club staff members too. Every 20 minutes, they would get kicked out of the plaza and have to re-enter. And as we can see in this activity log from one of the VIPs, players constantly tried to talk to them. The fact that a real person had to be on the other side heavily monitoring the game was likely the biggest limiting factor for running similar events in the future. One thing I noticed is that in all of the pictures from the event, the VIPs either had normal, or nothing as their types. This means they either mashed A when entering the plaza or pressed B to cancel the dialogue. Given how many times they had to re-enter the plaza and do this, I don't blame them. The rewards are honestly kinda lame too. VIP status sounds cool and all, but all it amounts to is a gold trainer card and a higher level tap toy that you can get through normal means anyways. On top of that, the Wi-Fi Plaza was just not a super popular feature. For a lot of players, it was something you tried once and then forgot about. If you were a VIP, you'd be flexing your status to so few people, and it wouldn't impact your day-to-day enjoyment of the game. The confirmation that the same VIPs sometimes had different passwords is a fascinating but unsolvable mystery. Maybe it was a protection mechanism against people sharing passwords with their friends, or maybe the event was just set up incorrectly, causing passwords to rotate more than they should have. If it was a mistake, then it would be difficult to resolve the event since everyone would be submitting different passwords. Unfortunately, the reasoning for this is something we'll likely never know for sure. I also want to stress how shocking it was to discover how much effort and planning went into this VIP feature on Game Freak's end. I glossed over the technical details for this video, but clearly a good chunk of time was spent working on this feature that ended up being used seemingly one single time. It definitely seems like something that sounded better in planning than it did in execution. While the event was small scale, it blows my mind that it was never documented in any permanent way outside of Japan. Even within Japan, it doesn't seem to be referenced at all after 2008. Pokemon in general is one of the better documented franchises out there. We have really good records of the Gen 4 Pokemon distributions and various old Daisuki Club promos and giveaways, but nothing on this specific campaign. I'm sure a big reason for it is the fact that additional details were locked behind the Daisuki Club account login, which people outside of Japan couldn't access. There's a decent chance that news of this event did spread back in 2008, but not on any lasting website. I've harped on the importance of archiving and how bad we were at it in the past, but oh boy, did this project really highlight that. As I poked around on the old Pokémon Platinum and Daisuki Club websites, it became apparent that we've lost a lot over the years. Back then, Pokemon loved conveying information through images. Here's an example of what that looks like. As you can see, all of the relevant text for this page is buried within the images. If the images are gone, so is all the text. While these specific images were archived, the vast majority were not. For instance, the page announcing the VIP event had several images that are lost forever. These images might have conveyed additional details, like what the wonderful gift winners would have received was. It's a miracle that this post has as much text as it does. If it relied purely on images like most other news posts, we might have never gotten official confirmation of the event. Without archive.org and old Japanese blog sites that somehow still work, we might have lost every trace of this event ever happening. There's definitely lots of things you can take away from this video, but there's one main thing I want to drive home. Despite the Pokemon franchise's popularity, there's still so much stuff undocumented about these games, including a whole freaking event, and we probably won't ever be able to learn every detail of it, simply because nobody documented it while they had the chance. And even if anybody did, it might have been on a site that just doesn't exist anymore. I'll do a write-up on this event for my website, sinjoruins.com, and add details as we learn more. Maybe this video will help additional information about the event come to light, who knows. I want to give big shoutouts to my buddy Thomas for helping me with the Japanese research, and Mithra for sharing a ton of her findings with me and helping me simulate the event. I'm really curious to hear what you all think about this event. Do you think it's a big deal that we never got such a unique Pokemon event? Like, if this event was presented as is to international audiences, would you have participated? Would you have cared about VIP status if you were 10 years old in 2009? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe. I feel really bad that it took so long for this video to come out since I had to be super thorough with my research, but I'll be putting out videos more often going forward. I've also been streaming a ton on Twitch lately, twitch.tv/etchy, so definitely drop me a follow there if you want even more Pokemon content. Links to that and other stuff in the description. Big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, and special shoutouts to Frorio, Mithrostaken, Veroda, and Fuzzy Hugs for your support. If you would also like to support my research and archiving efforts and get some behind-the-scenes posts in the process, you can check me out at patreon.com/etchy. That's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.